Here's an awesome chord from Jaws. I think we're going to need a bigger piano.
Keith Horn's Chord of the Week.
Steven Spielberg's 1975 film Jaws completely smashed box office records, and even more important, it brought back the classic orchestral score back into the movie theater after a lengthy hiatus in the 1960s and early 1970s. This was John Williams' breakout score that made him a household name, and the score still holds up today as a masterpiece of musical storytelling.
The guy's really good.
Here's the chord I want to talk about.
Out here till we find him again.
Yeah, but we could radio in and get a bigger boat out here.
It's after a long chase scene where we first see the shark and Roy Scheider says his famous line,
"You're gonna need a bigger boat."
the three men tag it with a barrel, they chase it around the ocean, and they finally lose it underwater, barrel and all. And now these guys are tired. Two of them are kind of freaking out and want to go in and get a bigger boat. And the sun is setting, so night is about to fall in the story. We're about to go from Act 2 to Act 3. And this chord bridges that. It takes us from day to night, and there's a monster in the water. This is the chord. We have an F major triad, a D major triad, and second inversion, here's the root of that, over E flat. Right, so it's a poly-chord that we could try to figure out what to call it, because it's not a functional chord. It doesn't, it's not like this is a 5 and it finds its way to 1, although that would be awesome, but he doesn't do that. He just uses this as sort of it's a visual transition from day to night, and he just uses this to sort of float us into something unknown. So, we have an F triad, and we have a D triad, and we have an E flat, and so it kind of looks like some kind of F, 7 over the 7th, and then here's a doubled third, a 6th or a 13th, and then a flat 9. So you suppose you could call it an F13 flat 9 over 7, but it's not really jazz. That's really just to help us think of what the chord is, to help conceive of what it is. That's why I kind of think of it that way. And for me, I think of it as like, if F is 1, D is 6, because D is the 6th of F. Build a triad off the 6th note of F, 1, 6, there's your triad, flat 7. So for me, that's the shortcut. 1, 6, flat 7 in order to build this chord. 1, 6, flat 7. That 6 is not a diatonic 6, it's borrowed, it's altered, it's D major. The diatonic 6 of F would be D minor. Right? Now, we're not in F. This is just a framing device, really, to just kind of conceive of the chord. So that you can go 1, 6, flat 7. Or you could do it in C. 1, 6, flat 7. And then you can build that chord, play around with it, and make it your own.
Well, that's one way of doing it.
Now, this idea of a polychord with a borrowed bass note, it resembles a chord that appears all over Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. Let's play the chord in close voicing from Jaws, but we'll play it like this. I'm going to take this D and bring that down here. I'm going to throw the F over top of it. So we have, and then the E flat is here. Well, let's think of it this way, actually. D, F, and E flat. So if we revoice it, it's now a D7 with a split 9. A sharp 9, right there, and a flat 9, right there, the E flat. So a D7 split 9. Now, just for fun, I'm going to drop this a whole step and listen to this chord from the Rite of Spring. That's the opening of the mock abduction from the Rite of Spring. It's a C7, C7, split 9, just like that. Just like when we revoiced the Jaws chord like this, F, D, E flat, we revoiced it like this, exact same notes, dropped it a whole step. Now it's the mock abduction chord from the Rite of Spring. I suppose we could take the Rite of Spring chord and revoice it like, and make it the Jaws chord. We would do it this way, E flat, C, D flat. That's the exact same voicing, a whole step down. It's just fun to draw those comparisons. Here's another one. The end of the Adoration of the Earth. It's right before we get to this chord. The big famous chord when we're here. Just sort of anticipating and waiting for that. That chord sounds like this. And here's that voicing. Here's E flat 7. And the split 9 is down at the bottom. Sharp 9, flat 9. Now the thing is, we can call that chord two different things. E flat 7, split 9. Or this is also F sharp 13, flat 9.
That's very interesting.
So if we think of the Jaws chord like this, its original form, then like this, its sort of Stravinsky-ish form, we could also think of it as an F13 flat 9 like this.
Jazz!
Right? And, you know, I'm not pointing this out to be clever. I mean, I suppose it is clever to sort of, oh, it kind of resembles this and it kind of resembles that. But it's to point out the power of enharmonic equivalence, that you can take the same pitches, redistribute them, and you have film music, you have classical orchestral music, and you have traditional jazz.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Just the fact that you can just rearrange pitches and use them however you want is the whole idea of this video series for me. I like to take chords out of their original context, mix them up, play with them, try them in different contexts, different types of music, different styles. And after practicing them over and over again, eventually it just becomes part of your lexicon, you're part of your DNA, part of your vocabulary. And it starts with kleptomania, to be sure. You're stealing these great chords, but they're out there for the taking. And you remix them and make them your own. It's sort of like, to me, it's like next level creativity, and it's really exciting for me to do this kind of stuff. It's super nerdy, but if you're watching this, if you're still watching this video, hopefully you're as uber nerdy as I am about this stuff, because this is fun for me, and I hope it is for you too.
Everyone having fun.
So back to the Jaws chord. After 5 straight minutes of action, this chord perfectly captures this mix of the character's exhaustion and fear and shock, because 5 minutes ago they saw the shark and the audience saw the shark for the first time after like 80 minutes of not seeing the shark. And the way this chord just kind of hangs there in a mixture of dark and light with the colors of the strings. You have the high strings, the mid strings, and the low strings. This mix of colors, it sort of parallels what we see visually, where the day is turning to the night. And this one chord is a great example of why we love the work of John Williams.
You are the greatest.
So let's take this chord through some exercises. The first exercise is to build it like I was saying earlier, like 1, 6, flat 7. Right? And I hope that makes sense to you if you're still watching this. I hope that makes sense. 1, if you think of F as the 1, and the 6 is D. Build a major triad off of that, just to get that poly-chord. And the third part of the chord is to add this flat 7th of this, the flat 7 of that. So we'll take it through the plagal cycle, which is descending fourths, like this. for the second exercise, take it down an octave, like this, and take it through voice leading through the authentic cycle. So the left hand will go from F to B flat, to E flat, to A flat, using voice leading. The right hand will start in D, G, C, F, and so on, and we'll add the flat 7 down at the bottom. That'll sound like this. So that's what I call the dusk chord from Jaws. Have fun with it, mix it around, redistribute the voices, do whatever you want with it. Thanks for watching and happy practicing.
Yeah. Who this? This beat. Yo, who this? Yo, who this? Who this?